Talking real estate right now with one of our Boston Power players, Hans Brings, Coldwell banker in Waltham. Hans, people are still saying this is a seller's market. I feel like that's been going on forever. Inventory's low. The public knows it. Creates a little bit of a monster for you as a real estate agent because everybody thinks that they're going to put their home on the market and it's going to sell immediately.
Chris, there's certainly a lot of high expectations out there, to say the least. I mean, every seller I walk into their home, they believe that their property is going to sell this coming weekend, as soon as we put it on the market. When in reality, it's happening. Absolutely, it is happening, but it's happening maybe 25 to 33% of the time. I mean, it doesn't happen with every home that comes on the market.
I'm sure for that home that goes under contract in 3 days, there's also a home 50% of the time that might take 3 weeks, 3 months.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the average time on market, at least in my market, Waltham, our average time is 30 to 45 days. So for every property that takes a weekend, there's another one that's going to take 3-4 months to sell.
So from your end, it's really setting the table up front, right? Making sure that the sellers are educated. Because if they just listen to the news and what others are saying, a lot of them think that they can just do it themselves, right? Because it's so easy to sell a home. Right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's all about, several factors. I mean, number one is, what kind of home do you have? Is it a unique property? Is it a unique location? Number two, are you aggressively pricing the property? I mean, obviously, if the price is too high, you're not going to get multiple offers. And then finally, it's about great marketing. I mean, you have to expose, no matter how great of a house it is, no matter what the price, if no one knows about it, it's not going to sell.
Correct. And I think the marketing piece of it plays such a role today. It's not just as simple as throwing it online. I know there's a lot of online sites out there and you can get it up and running, but it's really how it's marketed online that makes the difference.
It's all about a plan. It's about a structure. It's about coming into it and making sure that first weekend, I mean, it would be great to get that multiple offer situation. So I push for that scenario where I have everything hit online, print, billboard, all at the same time that first weekend. So we have everyone that's out there looking at properties to look at their property.
If you're selling in Waltham, no brainer, connect with Hans, hansbrings.com. Now let's flip it to the buy side.
Sure.
Okay. Very competitive market. Sometimes people get frustrated as they don't realize that they have to be ready to go. What are you seeing with your buyers out there right now?
Well, just as you said, I mean, there's some frustration. They make offers and they make great offers. And a lot of times they're well over the asking price. And they still lose, unfortunately, in this market. And I think it's about listening and learning. If you do lose a property once, what do we do next time? Find out, ask your buyer's agent to ask the listing agent, why did they lose? What was wrong with their offer? What was better about the other offer? Was it price? Was it their terms? Was there some sort of emotional attachment? I mean, there's so many different factors. Listen and learn, I always say.
Working with professionals makes a difference. I was actually on the phone with a client going through a pre-approval earlier today, and they were talking about making offers on property without even putting their home on the market. I explained, in a market like today, it's really hard to get somebody to bite on your offer. If you need to sell and you're not ready to go, it's not going to work.
It's just not a reality, unfortunately, in this market. I mean, there are no sellers out there, at least not that I know of, that will accept an offer that's contingent upon selling their property. And I totally understand where a buyer/seller is coming from. They're nervous. They don't want to get their house on the market without knowing where they're going to go. But so it's an educational process. You have to go through exactly how things are going to happen down the line so they feel comfortable taking that leap of faith, putting their property on the market, getting educated to what's out there when their house sells, and then knowing that they'll find the right house thereafter.
A trend that's been popping up more and more frequently, I think, over the past year or so, at least from what I've seen, is escalation clauses. How do you deal with something like that as a buyer and a seller?
Well, they're challenging. I just had a situation the other day, as a matter of fact, and my buyer was making a fantastic offer. It was actually $35,000 over the asking price. I know the listing agent well, presented my offer, great terms, great price, but the listing agent came straight out and said, Hans, it really doesn't matter what your buyer offers because there's another buyer that has an escalation clause, which basically means that that other buyer was going to pay $5,000 higher than any other offer that was on the table.
Interesting. And that can be so dangerous from so many different perspectives, right? That person's financing something, unless they're putting 50% down or greater, could be in a jam, right? It just blows my mind that people are getting, I don't want to say desperate, but they're in the position to go $5,000 over, no matter what, with no cap. As a buyer's agent on your side, don't tell me you weren't tempted to kind of push the envelope, knowing that you were going to lose.
It was just interesting because it's exactly that. It's like when you're told that no matter what your buyer offers, someone else is going to top it. Yeah. It's just that's frustrating for a buyer as well as a buyer's agent, to be honest with you. Even the listing agent was like, what do you want to do? It's like, no matter what I do, we were going to lose.
And good for you for not turning around and saying, I'm going to up the ante. Here we go. Play with fake chips, right?
I don't know. It's a challenge sometimes, but you have to be realistic with folks too. But it's a learning experience for my buyer too, because now he's thinking, well, maybe that's what I need to do next time.
Sure. You're in a great market. Waltham, we've talked about it for a long time, is just a great place to live. What are you seeing in Waltham right now?
Waltham, we continue to have low inventory. I know we've heard that, across the board from all the towns. Right now we have 31 homes on the market in Waltham, single-family homes that is. In comparison, for the last 15 years, we've never seen this low of a number. We've had as high as 150 properties on the market in Waltham at any given time. Prices-wise, we're up 8% this year. We're at $572,000 is our median price in Waltham.
It's healthy, though. It's not out of control. It's not 30%.
No,
you see
it's
some
not 30%,
crazy, but it's a pretty decent number.
It's dramatic.
Yeah,
we've
something's got to turn.
2011, our median price was $366,000. So here we are at 579. I'm sorry, 572.
We're lucky to live in the area that we live in. Waltham has built itself out as well. Moody Street, for example.
Our restaurants are fantastic. Our parks are fantastic. All our elementary and middle schools are brand new, and we're in the midst of actually about to build a brand new high school as well. So a lot of good things happening.
And in comparison to the other W towns that surround you, you're much more affordable. That's what I'm trying to say. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely true. I cannot say that we're cheap by any means, because we're not, but we are more affordable, and it's a great place. Look at the commute. We are in a pocket of value is what I call it. We're the center of all those towns, yet at the same time, we have access to Mass Pike, Route 128, Route 2. We've got it all. And 2 commuter rail stops as well.
Commute, location, amenities, school systems, checking a lot of boxes. Absolutely. Thanks, Hans. And if you're in the Waltham market and would like to reach out to Hans directly, check out his website at hansbrings.com. Stay with us right here on Real Estate Talk Boston. More information coming at you.